Welcome to Your Take. This is a review of Pretend It's a City, Netflix original 2021 7-part documentary series by Martin Scorsese. It features the humorist and critic Fran Lebowitz. She's also a renowned writer. Check out this clip.
One of the first things that you wrote was a column for Interview magazine, and then after doing that for a time, what was I Would Cover the Waterfront was the name of the...
No, my first column I had for Interview was called The Best of the Worst, and it was a movie review column. But I only reviewed, well, not even B movies, and mostly made by a company called American International Pictures, with specialized AIP in this certain sort of movie, which I was in love with. And they screened them in New York for distributors, and so I would go and watch the screenings. You're right, I did this column for a couple of years, and then I started doing I Cover the Waterfront, which was more Catholic. I wrote about everything, not just movies.
But I told you I had that book.
Which book?
All the stuff that you wrote in Interview for the 70s.
My movie reviews are in there.
That's right. Yeah.
The Best of the Worst.
Yes, the best. That's right. That's right.
All those AIP movies then, remember?
Oh, yes.
So,
Yeah.
and they never show them in New York. Or they maybe show them on 42nd Street.
42nd Street.
But they screen them in New York for the people in drive-ins. So, you know, because that was mostly where they played that. And so they would have these screenings, like at 1600 Broadway. Remember that screening room?
Oh, yes. Wonderful screening room.
And
So dirty.
I got myself onto this AIP list so I could watch these movies. And I just started mostly writing about them. Because they were more fun to write about. Because I wasn't really interested in being a critic. I was interested in finding something funny to write about.
Oh, these things were...
They were unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you made one of these
I made one
movies,
of them. Boxcar Bertha.
which I reviewed. Did you
You
see?
did? No, I didn't see that
Yeah,
review yet.
I definitely remember, because when I found out recently that you made Boxcar Bertha,
Yes.
I said, I'm sure I reviewed that because I remember it. But I never knew that you made it. I was very young. When I started working for Interview, I was like 20 years old. And I wrote for Interview for like 11 years, I think, quite a long time, you know. And I never got along with Andy. Andy never got along with me.
Metropolitan Life and Social Studies, which came first?
Metropolitan Life.
And then Social Studies.
And then Social Studies.
A wildly entertaining collection of humorous essays.
That's right. You have both of them there.
That's right. And they have been republished in one form or another how many times?
Oh, in different formats, probably 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times. Now, you have a kid's book. This is a first for you, isn't it?
That is correct.
Are you ever going to write anything new?
This is new.
The Panda book?
Yes.
Yes, but it's for kids.
Yes. Oh, I'm writing a novel.
Yeah, I know, but you were writing a novel 6 years ago. When we talked to you 6 years ago...
No. I was supposed to be writing the novel 6 years ago, but I took 10 years off to sulk.
10 years off to sulk.
Yes.
And did you get everything accomplished along those lines you wanted to?
Well, I'm almost finished sulking.
Do you suffer from...
Yes.
Okay.
The New York Public Library has a refrigerator magnet with a quote from you.
Half a quote.
Half a quote. The half a quote is, think before you speak, read before you think. What's the rest of the quote?
The rest of the quote, as I recall, because it's really old, this is something I wrote for Newsweek in like 1978. Okay, so Newsweek in 1978, by the way, which is a very important publication, and they had a feature on the back page called My Turn, which they would invite a different person to write, you know. So after my first book came out in 1978, I was invited to do this. My parents could not believe it. Like, this was like, they asked you? And I think the original quote was, think before you speak, read before you think. This will give you something to think about that you didn't make up yourself. A wise move at any age, but most especially at 17, when you are in the greatest danger of coming to annoying conclusions.
Fran Lebowitz was born October 27, 1950. She is an American author, public speaker, occasional actor, and she doesn't call herself an activist or a stand-up comedian, but she is quite funny and she is quite active in trying to give her opinions about things in politics and in life in New York. In this documentary series, it's a limited series with 7 actual episodes. In each episode, there is a focus, and this particular episode focused on sports, and it was one of my favorite episodes because they actually showed the clips from the race with Jesse Owens when Hitler was invading the world, and Jesse Owens, an American track star, won the Olympics gold medal, which was a spectacular win for America and the world against white supremacy. In this episode, Spike Lee tries to convince her that sports is a beautiful art form, and they go back and forth debating it with respect and with humor. One of the things that you love about this series is that every time she's being interviewed, she does have a lot of smart and sarcastic ways to respond, but she always helps you understand her point of view, and you end up falling in love with her charisma. Sometimes she does seem a little old-fashioned, but that's a part of her charm as well. I think that young people need to really read her books and also watch this documentary series. I'm going to rate it at a solid 4. What's your take? Leave in the comments below, rating it from 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. Thanks so much for watching.